let me recap where we've been on starting a movement. So if you haven't looked, if you didn't attend the past ones, or you want to recap, the first thing we talked about was we talked about purpose statements. And so a little bit of life mission statements, maybe purpose statements, those kind of things. We did that for a month. Then we went through overcoming inertia. I love inertia, overcoming inertia. Inertia is the force that sits there that keeps a body stagnant and not moving. And so overcoming inertia means that, again, we go to that impact. You need to give something energy to get it out of that stationary position and moving. And sometimes this is your own inertia. I got this great idea, and it sits there for a couple years. So the three questions, the three things we put there is, first of all, for your movement, what is egregiously wrong? We went through that in one of the months. What is egregiously wrong in the world? The second one is, where's their potential energy? Just because you think it's, there's something egregiously wrong doesn't mean that there's other people who don't think it's there. So you got to have potential energy out there. And I think of that like a coiled spring. It's like there's a coiled spring out there, and what you're presenting is something that has people go like, oh, finally, this revolution of well-being. I was looking for that, right? So you help open up things. And so there's that coiled spring. And then the third part of this was, is it ambitiously possible? Some of these things on the planet, if you put it too big out there and you never achieve it or never even make progress towards it, then you lose the motivation. So you have to have something that's ambitiously possible. So that was 1 month that we looked at, is overcoming inertia. Last month, we went through clarity. And there were 3 things related to clarity. We had a clarity of mindset. And this was really good with folks. So what mindset do you need to jettison, that you encourage people to jettison? And what mindset do you encourage people to adapt or adopt? So what do you need people to let go of, and what do you need them to take on? So for me, Wisdom for Humanity, that's about letting go of a victim mentality, which there's a lot of in our world right now. But I want them to adopt an empowered mentality. So that's, that piece. What are the triggers? So what are the first steps? What are the things that out there that go like, this is like the trigger, either good triggers. We talked about that time too. It's like, oh, this really excites you. Like one of the things walking, I was at the airport this past weekend, and sometimes just a little kid with an ice cream cone just makes me smile. And somehow that's part of Wisdom for Humanity. It's enjoying that moment. But there's also the triggers that are the negative ones too. They go like, oh, I just can't believe it. So one of the ones I'm working on is, you make me you make me mad. It's like, no, I didn't make you anything. You decided to be mad. And that's a victim phrase. And even, you make me happy. No, you decided to be happy with what that person does. So there's an empowerment to that too. Okay, and the last one is, what's the first step of your movement? Please take time doing this one. What's the first step people should take to join your movement? And don't think of that, you guys are all good at this, but don't think of that in terms of they buy my first offering, they buy my book, they buy my podcast, they buy this. It's like, that's not it. It's like, you're, in terms of meaning and well-being, what are you going to encourage people to do? Amber, maybe the first step is, feel your little toes. I don't know. Maybe that's the first step. That you ask people to do. Make it simple. Make entry into your movement a low barrier to entry, as we would say in marketing.